All right, so here I am. I am in the app called Solo Learned, and it's a really cool app. I'm going to go into SQL fundamentals and also start with the first unit of the SQL fundamentals, which is basic concepts. So the first part of the basic concepts is called Introduction to Databases. Is the first lesson. So here you see a database. A database is a collection of data that is organized in a manner that facilitates ease of access, as well as efficient management and updating. A database is made up of tables that store relevant information. For example, you would use a database if you were to create a website like YouTube, which contains a lot of information like videos, usernames, passwords, and comments, which YouTube does. In this course, we will learn how to create and query databases using SQL. That's what I took from this. And which of the following is true about a database? A database is a collection of data. A database is a programming language. Now, we didn't read anything about a programming language, even though this entire course is about a programming language. We're going to probably learn about the programming language stuff in a future lesson. But right now, as we said in the article, a database is a collection of data. So we're going to pick that and see if it's correct. Yep. So moving on. Database tables. A table stores and displays data in a structured format consisting of columns and rows that are similar to those seen in Excel spreadsheets. Databases often contain multiple tables, each designed for a specific purpose. For example, imagine creating a database table of names and phone numbers. First, we would set up columns with the titles, first name, last name, and telephone number like it's shown in the table right there. Each table includes its own set of fields based on the data it will store. All right, so this is the table of which it stores data within it. First name, last name, telephone number, and of course the telephone number associates with each individual row it correlates with. So John Smith has 715 number, David Williams has the 569 number, and so on and so forth. A table has a specified number of columns but can have any number of rows. So the list can go down as much as it wants and keep on adding rows and rows and rows and rows over and over, but you need to have like a controlled amount of columns. Tables are made up of rows but no columns. That's wrong because we just said that we need to specify what the columns are for. Columns and rows, yes, that's the correct one. Let's see. Yep. Primary keys. A primary key is a field in the table that uniquely identifies the table records. The primary key's main features: it must contain a unique value for each row. It cannot contain null values. Let's see. An absence of value. Null means an absence of value. For example, our table contains a record for each name in the phone book. The unique ID number would be a good choice for a primary key in the table, as there is always the chance for more than one person to have the same name. That's true. You can have more people with the same last name or with the same first name. There's a billion Johns in the world, and there's a billion people who could have the name Smith or Williams, Anderson. So it's important to have another attribute that can be unique in those sort of situations. And a primary key is perfect for that. So as you can see in the leftmost column of the table, you see ID, and it has the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that number can go as long and as far as you want, but as long as it has a unique value and doesn't repeat any number, and also it cannot contain null values, as we've learned. It's null means an absence of value, so there can't be like an empty row in the ID column on the left. It always has to have a value. So tables are limited to one primary key each. The primary key's value must be different for each row. Yep, that's what it's in the main features. So let's see. The unique column used to identify the records is called primary key. Boom. Now, this is the last article. So what is SQL or SQL? Once you understand what a database is, understanding SQL is easy. SQL stands for Structured Query Language. SQL is used to access and manipulate a database. MySQL is a program that understands SQL. SQL can insert, update, or delete records in a database, create new databases, table, stored procedures, views, retrieve data from a database, etc. SQL is an ANSI, American National Standards Institute standard, but there are different versions of the SQL language. Most SQL database programs have their own proprietary extensions in addition to the SQL standard, but all of them support the major commands. All right, so let's move on to the question. What is the name of the language used in creating and accessing databases? Well, that's easy. SQL. And that is Introduction to Databases.